What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 14 Reunion Part 1. Now, let's talk about how beautiful all of the women looked. So, the thing about the Atlanta women, the Atlanta franchise, is that these women know how to dress for a reunion. If you're not entertained by the things that they're talking about, you will definitely be mesmerized by what these women are wearing. All the women looked gorgeous, head to toe. The hair, the makeup, the dresses, everything was just absolutely beautiful. So I say 10 out of 10 for the fashions for all of them. Let's talk about the miscellaneous people, the people that really didn't give us too much during the season as far as I'm concerned. Let's talk about Sonya and Drew, Tweedledee and Tweedledum. What the hell are these women fighting about? I don't even know exactly how their beef started, but in my personal opinion, I think Sonya was the one that started the beef. And it started when they had gone to New York and Sonya was taking a walk with Kenya one morning and she just started ragging on Drew, which I thought was, for no reason. And she was criticizing her business and everything else. And I didn't even know where the hell it was coming from. It was so confusing to me. Like, just out of the clear blue sky, she just starts talking about Drew and all the issues that she has with Drew. And I couldn't remember at any point them having any kind of disagreement or any kind of issue with one another. It just came out of nowhere. And then Sonya felt that she felt this need to go and confront Drew in her hotel room about these issues that she was having. And so to me, that's where the beef started. Why Sonya felt this way, I have no idea. But I think that Sonya felt like she needed to have beef or conflict with someone in order to stay on the show. I think somebody probably misled her and told her that, look, the people love the fights, the arguments, they like the conflict, the drama. So, girl, just pick somebody on the cast that you feel like you can go toe to toe with, and you're guaranteed a spot. And I think that's what she did. And I think she picked Drew because she probably thought that Drew was going to just roll over and just let Sonya talk to her any kind of way. She didn't pick any of the more stronger females on the show because they would have chopped her down like a tree. They would have absolutely chopped her down. So she decides to pick Drew, who, Drew is like, I don't know. Drew is like that pesky little sister that you have to take with you everywhere. I mean, you like her, whatever, but it's like, she's a drag and she's annoying, and that's how I see Drew. Whenever she's with the other women, she's so annoying. On her own, I don't have a problem with Drew. When we're talking about her and her husband and the issues with her son's father, and the issue with whether or not Ralph is going to adopt her son, all that stuff, her mother, I have no issue with. But when she's around the other women, she kind of just fades into the background. And it's like her age, her immaturity, like really shows when she's next to the big wigs like Kenya or Marlo. So at the reunion, Drew and Sonya are going back and forth about I have no idea what. And Sonya starts to cry. And I'm thinking to myself, girl, what is it about Drew Sidora that makes you want to cry? I mean, she's like a little fluff. She's like a little cute doll. What is it about her that makes you want to cry? What could she have possibly said or done, Sonya, that you're in a situation now on this damn reunion crying over whatever the hell you were arguing about with Drew? It just made no sense to me. I thought Sonya looked absolutely crazy, sitting up there crying about Drew or crying over Drew. Moving on from that, let's talk about Sheree. So the first thing that Andy mentions to Sheree is, when we go to your website, I don't see anything there. And Sheree said that her website was going to officially launch at the time of their finale. Now, her website has launched. I did go to it, and I was blown away by the prices. $32 for one pair of white socks. $102 for one tank top, $162 for one lace legging. Highway robbery. Who is spending money on this? I mean, if it was affordable, if she was going, I don't know if she's trying to present her brand as like a luxury brand, like next to Gucci or Prada. But girl, you are like galaxies away from them. Okay, can we stick with something that's a little bit more affordable? Can you cater to the average person who would normally get their leggings at Walmart? Can we have something like that? And it would just, I mean, I think that if she lowered the prices on these damn things, she probably would have a better shot in getting into a Target or Walmart or a Ross or something like that. The middle class, the people who are, middle of the road, we're the ones that keep this economy going. So yeah, girl, lower those damn prices and be a little bit more realistic in your product, because we don't see what you see. We see some damn leggings at $162 that don't look like they're worth $20. Moving on. So she talks about Candy throwing shade at her and, throwing shade at her business. And they all did. I don't know why she zeroed in on Candy, because they all talked about it. I mean, nobody talked about it worse than Kenya. So I don't know why she was like zoning in on Candy about that. And Candy said that she threw shade at Sheree's business because Sheree threw shade at her, during the show. Sheree acted like she didn't do that. She couldn't remember. It didn't happen. And Sheree, you threw shade at everybody, and everybody threw shade at you, and that's how this show works. So stop with I'm so innocent, I didn't say anything bad about anybody. Then the question was asked, why did Sheree throw shade at Drew's business, Drop It with Drew, when it took her 14 years to finally give us a fashion show for She by Sheree? And Sheree said that, well, even though it took me 14 years to show you She by Sheree, I represent fashion. I don't see how. Now she dresses okay, but I don't see her represent. The person who represents fashion on the Real Housewives of Atlanta is Marlo. Okay, that's the one that represents fashion. Sheree, you just, I mean, you got your little labels or whatever, but girl, stop. So she says, I represent fashion. She doesn't represent health and fitness. And then Drew came back with, well, at least I'm natural because you're not. And so they went back and forth on that. It really doesn't matter. Eventually, all of y'all are going to get work done. So all of y'all in the same boat. But whatever the situation is, Sheree still looks really good for her age. She looks like someone who does, take a walk or two now and then. She might not be hardcore in the gym, but she does look like someone who is conscious of her health and how she looks. And it does look like Drew lost weight for the reunion. I did notice that. I felt like she didn't look as stuffed. So then the question was asked to Sheree. A viewer had asked, Sheree, are you broke because it takes you forever to finish a project? That was hilarious. Moving on from there. Marlo being, so then as they were talking about Sheree, I don't know how this happened, but Marlo brings up her beef with Candy. So evidently, let me just look at my notes because I got this confused the last time. Marlo brings up when she worked with Todd and Candy about a show for her when she wasn't on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Marlo said that she didn't go through with it because the contract was not beneficial for her. So Marlo wanted to know, why does Candy continuously bring up on her show that her and Todd were trying to help me, but she had declined the offer because the contract, it just wasn't what she wanted. So I guess Marlo was having an issue about Candy on her YouTube channel, I think, where Candy was always talking about how her and her husband were trying to help Marlo. And this was coming up repeatedly on the show. And I guess, not on the show, but on her YouTube channel. And Marlon got kind of sick and tired of it. And so then Candy said, the only reason why I brought up that we were trying to help you is because during the show, while we were recording Real Housewives, you kept on talking about how I don't help people. So I had to clear my damn name and let it be known that I do help people because I was trying to help you. So that was the only point that was the main reason why Candy said she would bring up this whole television show thing that her and her husband had brought to Marlo. And it seems like, Candy maybe was feeling really sorry for Marlo, or maybe she saw the potential in Marlo, because Marlo, I've never understood why it would have taken her so damn long to get a peach. I'm pretty sure there were some forces behind the scenes working against her. Maybe when Nene Leakes was on it, maybe Nene didn't want her to be a cast, and Nene was like the heart and soul of this particular franchise. Maybe Carlos King didn't like her when he was a producer on the show. I don't know, but it seems like there were some dark forces that are trying to keep Marlo from getting her peach, because when certain people were no longer on the show, all of a sudden she has a peach. So Maybe Candy kind of felt sorry for Marlo, and maybe Marlo kind of sensed that they're doing this out of pity, and maybe that's the reason why she declined the contract, or she didn't really want to work with them. I don't know, but that's the reason why, Candy said she kept on bringing it up on her YouTube channel. And then Marlo was like, well, it wasn't you that was trying to help me. It was Todd that I was always talking to. And Candy was like, no, it was me and Todd together. I came to you. I spoke to you about this. And Marlo was like, no, I only talked to Todd about it. So they have completely different memories on how this went down. But I'm more inclined to believe Candy, because Candy and Todd, they're pretty tight as a couple and as business partners. So I don't see Todd trying to pitch this idea to Marlo completely outside of Candy's knowledge. Moving on from there. So Sheree reels it back to her. She's like, wait a minute. Okay, this is my segment. We're supposed to be talking about me. And so they talk about why she chose to be abstinent with Tyrone, because this man's been gone away in prison for so many years. He comes out and now you're, putting this abstinence thing on him. So like, what's up with that? And Sheree basically wanted to throw shade at Tyrone. I don't think the reason that she gave was the real reason, but she said that the reason why she decided to abstain was because it just wasn't good. When they did try it, she didn't like it, so she wanted to abstain. Okay, but if you didn't like it, why didn't you just break up with him? Why would you like still be with someone who was, playing games with you, plus couldn't satisfy you? Like, why wouldn't you just break up with him? So Sheree says that she's dating someone else. And at first, she wanted to act like, everything was on the hush hush, confidential. I can't say who it is. I'm not going to confirm or deny, blah, blah, blah. But then she begins to describe him, and she describes him to a T that, even a blind man could see that she was talking about Martell, because she described Martell perfectly. So after she acted like, oh, I'm not going to say, she says, well, he does work in reality TV. He is into real estate, and he just launched his wine brand. If it walks like a Martell and it quacks like a Martell and it talks like a Martell, damn it, it's a Martell Holt. So Andy then asked if she's ignoring the red flags, him cheating on his wife, leaving her. Okay, so this is the thing about Martell. He was married to Melody, had 3 children with her, cheated on her like crazy. They were going to get a divorce. They got back together, had another baby. Then he got his mistress pregnant. Then him and Melody get a divorce. So he leaves Melody as a single parent. Then he ends up leaving the mistress, or leaves her as a single mom. And now he's moved on to Sheree. So are you ignoring the red flags? And Sheree said that, she pretended like she didn't know what was going on between Martell and Melody, his ex-wife. She says, I really don't know exactly what happened between them. Yes, you do. Yes, you know exactly. You know, you knew, you just don't care. So watching the show, Love and Marriage Huntsville, the show that Martell is on with his ex-wife, Sheree said that when she watched his show, he was someone that she would never have dated from what he presented on the show. But when she met him in person, she says it was completely different. Different how? Different how? No matter what he said, no matter what type of game he tried to play on you, no matter how much wool he was pulling over your eyes, Sheree, whoever that was that you met in person was the same exact person who was married to Melody Holt, had 4 children with her, and then cheated on her like a damn dog throughout their marriage. And rumor has it he was cheating on her from the day that they got married. That's still the same person. So no matter how he has switched personalities, did whatever Jedi mind trick on you, this is still the same person. So I don't know what you mean. From the guy that I saw on the show, wouldn't date, but when I met him in person, it was something different. So she says that normally, she doesn't really go for looks. She says, Martell's a good looking guy, but I really don't go for looks. And then Kenya came in and said, yeah, we know because we've met Bob Whitfield. So she says that right now they're just having fun. But why do you just have to have fun with Martell? That's what I don't understand. Girl, if you're in the prime of your life, I think Sheree's like in her early 50s or something. You're in the prime of your life. You want to, date whoever, whatever. Girl, that's fine. But why Martell Holt? Because you're looking crazy out here. Why Martell Holt of all people? I don't understand. Someone who's like slimy, sneaky, manipulative, a liar, deceptive. Like, why Martell Holt? Anyways, but that's who she says she wants to have fun with. Out of all the men in the world, that Sheree, and nobody can tell me that nobody else is approaching Sheree. Girl, where are the, don't you want to get with like a CEO, an executive of a big time corporation, a prince, a king? I mean, you, anyways, but you want to choose Martell Hall. Okay, girl. So, what I really didn't like was when Sonya said, "Oh, Sheree, what I really admire about you, girl, is that you don't give a damn about what people say. You don't care about what anybody says because you're always going to do you." Sonya, why are you pumping her up in her relationship with Martell Holt? I mean, if you want to pump her up, okay, pump her up in anything in any area of her life except her love life, because Sheree picks the worst man possible to partner with, and don't pump her up. Don't encourage her. Don't encourage her. She needs to listen to the naysayers. She needs to listen to the people that are telling her Martell Holt may not be the best choice for you. She needs to listen to all the negativity that is said about him. She needs to listen to the people that are trying to steer her away from making a stupid, dumb decision and making herself look crazy. Don't pump her up, Sonya. Don't try to encourage her. Don't try to compliment her or whatever the hell you're trying to do. This is not the time for that. This relationship with Martell does not need any encouragement, any support, or any type of positivity. It's like telling Sheree, girl, that stove is so hot. Do not touch it. It is going to burn your hand off. And she's like, oh, no, it's not. It's just a pretty red color. And then she puts her hand on the damn stove, burns her hand, blisters everywhere. And then she wants to look at you for sympathy. No, ma'am. Absolutely not. You take your blistered hand away from me because I try to warn you. So go put some ointment on it or do whatever you got to do over there because we tried to warn you, but you were so stupid enough to jump into the fire. Moving on from, so her choices in men is absolutely clownish. So then they started talking about Marlo. So I don't know if Marlo was just playing us or if Marlo was really, being honest and upfront, because Marlo gave us her story of her childhood and it was sad. And I don't know how anybody could have had a dry eye in that building listening to Marlo talking about how she ran away from home at the age of 10 because she couldn't take her mother beating her anymore. How she went from foster home to foster home. How she never felt wanted, never felt accepted. And the one time that she felt like she had found her forever home, it was a pretty house. The people were really nice. She comes home from school one day and her foster mom tells her that they weren't going to keep her, that they were going to take her back to foster care or to the foster home because the mother in the house said that her own daughter felt jealous or didn't like the fact that Marlo was getting so much attention from the mother. And so they ended up sending her back. And so all her life, Marlo has had this feeling of never being good enough, never being accepted. And she said that even though she came from a very difficult background, a very difficult upbringing, she said that look where I'm at now. I'm sitting here, across from Sheree, an entrepreneur. I'm sitting across from Kenya, Miss USA. I'm sitting across from a Grammy winning artist, Candy Burris. I'm sitting next to Drew, who is an actress and a singer. And I'm sitting across from Sonya, who was a 4-time, 5-time Olympic medalist. So she's like, after all that I've been through, look at where I'm at now. Then they talk about her mother and how the difficult relationship that she has with her mother. She talked about how, her mother came to see her, as we all saw during the season, but her mom didn't stay long. She thought her mom was going to stay longer, spend more time with her, bond with her, but her mom has stuff to do, and we know what's going on there, right? Because her mom suffers from addictions. So she felt bad about the fact that her mom didn't stay. It was kind of like, I don't know if Marlo felt used by her mom. Like maybe when her mom figured out, well, okay, Marlo can't do nothing else for me because she won't let me bring my man around. Maybe because Marlo wasn't going to give her money. I don't know. The mom left. She bounced. And Marlo felt bad about that. She says that she feels jealous of people like Candy who have such a close and tight relationship with their mom. And Marlo was telling us that, she always wanted the kind of mom that you can talk to, like if you've had a hard day, if you're fighting with your boyfriend, if you're fighting with your friends, you just want to pick up the phone or go out to lunch and just lay it all out, and your mom is going to make you feel better. And she says that her mom is not like that, and she's never ever had that, and that's all that she ever wanted. Then Andy asked her, do you have an issue with men? And she says, of course she does, because her own father wasn't there for her. So she feels like she can never depend on a man. She says that she feels like she always has to do things on her own. She's a survivor. She has to only depend on herself because no man's going to take care of her because her own dad wouldn't take care of her. So she doesn't have a lot of faith in men, and that does interfere with her relationships with men. So just a very sad story all the way around. And she was crying. She was crying so hard. And then whenever the camera would pan to Kenya, I felt like Kenya was getting emotional, but she was trying to fight it back because she wants to stay razor focused on giving Marlo the business when it's her segment, when it's her turn. And so I felt like, I felt like, okay, and I was looking at Kenya and I was like, Kenya's gonna break down. Kenya's gonna break down and she's gonna say something very sympathetic to Marlo. She's gonna say something comforting to Marlo because they've had similar childhoods, with these troubled relationships with their moms. And I was just waiting for Kenya to be like, oh my God, Marlo, I feel so bad. I'm so sorry. But nope, Kenya didn't. Kenya was like, nope, she's lying. It's all lies. This is just all an act. And I was like, what? How can you say that, Kenya? Because to me, I thought it was, I mean, if Marlo was lying, if this was just an act, her tears and her storytelling, and it was just said to like garner sympathy or to get people on her side, I don't know why she would do this, then she's a damn good actress. She really is. But in my personal opinion, I thought it was true. I thought it was genuine because we saw the tension that was there between her and her mom. There's love there. There's definite love there, but you can see the tension between them. And what I liked about Marlo was that she was not scared to be honest about the kind of mother that she had, because I think a lot of the times in our community, we can have some very, very abusive parents, and we just gloss it over with, well, it made me tougher. That's just how it is. We got whoopings every day because blah, blah, blah. All of this stuff. I'm not saying that every single whooping is abuse, but we like to sugarcoat our crazy tough upbringings, the way how viciously some people were beaten by their parents under the guise of discipline. And Marla called it out for what it was. She got tired of being beaten and she had to run away from home. And anyway, so yeah, I felt like her story was genuine. All in all, I did enjoy the review. I give it a thumbs up. I liked it a whole bunch. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you like this content, please don't forget to subscribe. And I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.